Alright, what we're doing today is we've got some Ken Spencer dual fuel filter, diesel filter systems to put on these two trucks. The first one here is a 929 A2 dump truck, and the other one is an M925 A1. They do have two different engines, so there are some slight differences. What we have down here is we've already assembled the actual filter brackets and mounts. And we've got different hoses for the two different trucks. And we will point out the differences when we get there. What we're going to be using is the systems over here, and we're going to be replacing that great big canister right there. That is the original fuel filters, and they are huge. And the filters in them are a little troublesome to get. They can be got, but it's certainly easier to get these spin-on filters. We're going to replace this hose from right here all the way down to there, and then it's going to get a new hose that will go right on up to the tank switching valve, which is right here. The other truck only has one tank, so it will actually get a fuel hose all the way back to the tank. So we will now commence to removing this, and we'll get the other one mounted up, and we'll show you how it's mounted, and we'll work on the lines, and then we can purge this out and get her fired up for you. Alright, we've got everything out, and what we've pulled, and this is all out of the M929 series, we've got the metal feed line that comes from the switching valve. That new looking hose is the hose that goes from the old fuel filter to the lift pump. You got these two little line extensions, and the main line here that actually goes from the metal line up to the filter, and here's the big filter assembly. Now what we've got out of here, as you can see, the line is gone from here. The fuel filter assembly is gone. The fuel lines ran way back in there, and they ran up to this. Now the small line you see there will be hooked back up because that is a return line from the engine, but it lays below the feed line, so we have to unhook it to get it hooked up. Now we'll get the stuff put in and commence to try and purge the fuel system and get her fired up before we do the next truck. Alright, we've got the new lines in and tied down. We've got the filters in, and they're already, we filled them up with fuel, so we got this nice filter set up here. Got the lines in, up, going up through here. And coming up, we got this all back together now. And now we're proceeding to put on a purging thing. I'll apply compressed air to the tank here, and we can help prime it without having to spend 2.5 hours pushing on that little tiny pump button right there. And then we'll get her fired up, put a few things together like the air filter he's sticking in right there, and then we can move to the next truck next door. And we'll show you on that one, everything's basically the same, but we will show you the differences. Well, as you can see, we've got her fired up. We got no leaks. Run good. And actually, the air pressure helps prime really, really well. So, if you have a chance to make one of them, trust me, it's very worthwhile. So, it looks like we're done with this one. We'll put the inner skirt back in it, close it up. We'll go work on the one next door. This is the NHC 250. This is actually a bigger engine, has a different set of injection setup. As you can see, this line is actually going right back to the what they call a PT pump. And it's coming down. It's basically, it does have about the same type of great big fuel filter, but this doesn't have a lift pump like the other truck did. Now the other thing is here, this has got a metal line that comes off there and goes all the way back to the tank. We are going to bypass that, and we'll leave the metal line in it. That's where the metal line goes to right there. And we're going to leave the metal line in because we'll use that to zip tie and secure the new hose to. So we don't have to deal with anything up under here at all. Now we're going to go ahead and get all this stuff knocked out on this one, which as you can see the minor differences here, and then we'll get it together and get this one primed and fired up. Okay, we've got everything out of this one. You can see there's nothing back there. And we leave the metal line, which I showed you before. You can see right there, again, maybe in the dark. But we leave that metal line because we use that as a tie-down point for our new hose. And what we've got here is this big long hose, and then the filter kit with the smaller hose. What's going on? And this old nasty thing is what we took off. And basically, unless I can find somebody to buy them, these are pretty much just scrap metal because I don't know that anybody really wants them. Alright, we got it all in. Everything's good to go. That's a little tight down there. We'll have to get in there and probably pull that out. And we got all the hoses in. So now it's just a matter of get a few zip ties on there and we'll get this sucker fired up. And this one happens to be the zombie truck. Okay, well, as you can hear from the loudness of the NHC, we've got them both running. That takes care of these two trucks. And now that leaves us with two more trucks down in another location. Ken being Mr. He-Man. So that takes care of two. We got two more to go. But this ought to give you a good idea how to do these on most of these trucks.